Cut this down. I can figure it out. There we go. Stomach.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ding dong, it's Wednesday, it's 8 o'clock. You got the Miller boys. Kind of switched up some things. We're going through Mad Talk now, not through Supermex. Although there may be some room in the future for us to be able to expand and do some other things, this is the platform that we'll be using right now on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. So as always, this is your weekly talk show where we discuss all things impacting the African American community of the city of Fresno and the surrounding areas. As always, I'm joined by my esteemed brother, Mr. G.Douglas. What's happening?
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Just so happy to be alive, full of energy and love for the world.
Yeah, okay. That's good. That's good. I wish I had some of your energy. I think I got a bug. I'm hoping it ain't the Rona.
The big bug.
I don't know, dude. My stomach was killing me this morning. Woo! Not good. And
There's another bug going around. I don't know if it's a flu bug or what, but there's another thing going around. It's scary.
My nose is not running. My throat don't hurt, nothing like that, man. But my stomach was bad this morning. But anyway, as we're speaking about COVID, I found out I went and took another test today through the county. It's a bunch of collaborations. They do it there at the fairgrounds. It's a drive-through deal. Took me about 25 minutes to get through it. Pretty simple. But I also found out this morning from them, as well as getting text messages throughout the day, that Fresno County is now doing vaccinations for anybody in Fresno County that's over the age of 75. There is you have to schedule an appointment. You have to go to the county website, which is www.co.fresno.ca.us. Go to their health department that's in there, and you can sign up. It looks like the vaccination appointments are through the 19th. Yeah, so starting tomorrow, actually starting today through January 19th, it looks like they're there every day from 8 to 4:45. You'll be going into the fairgrounds to get the vaccination component of it done. The drive-through, the swab test for COVID is being done in the Chance parking lot. And so they do that every Wednesday and Saturday in the Chance parking lot. And as I said, they've got 6 days now for the vaccination. So I'll be talking to our father. I was planning on getting back over there today and then make it. Go by there in the morning and talk with him to see if he wants to go get a vaccination. And maybe I'll be taking him.
Maybe.
So we'll see. He was asking about it last week, and I didn't have any answers for him. And I didn't know anything about this today until, like I said, I went over there at 9 o'clock this morning.
He's looking to take it?
He was talking about it a couple of weeks ago. But you know how he is. It's in his head. He saw something on TV or whatever, and he's asking.
Yeah.
And so Now it's
He
time for the.
has a right and a reason to be afraid. So he might they might have shook his tree hard enough.
Yeah, let's see. I'll go by there tomorrow because he's
Maybe
probably
it's too
knocked
far
out
to
now.
tell.
So, where you want to start, man? There's so much that we can talk
Oh
about.
man, I want to talk about stuff that's start with stuff that's positive, then we go negative, then we go positive again. First of all, I want to thank KP. We usually don't do that till the end of the show at Mad Talk TV for hosting us. Appreciate it. Um, uh, love you like cook food. Um, we don't have any issues on that end of the issue spectrum. Speaking of shows and doing that stuff, did you hear that Cumulus are sanctioning their talent talk show hosts across the country, telling them to lay off the rhetoric, or they're gonna be snatching them off the air like they the people powers that be here did Ray Appleton.
Yeah, I did hear something about that. I didn't hear all the details, but I guess they basically are telling them that they're not to say that the election was stolen, that it was not a fair and open, or whatever the term is,
Yeah,
election, and those type of things are going to be getting sanctioned. That's good, but it's a little too late for all that.
cut the BS, man. Cut the BS. It don't, it just to me it's reaffirming and that it's something that I've been saying forever and ever and ever. Probably the last 25 years since I got back to Fresno, that something needs to be done with that right wing KMJ and those lies that they put out. What was it, about 15 years ago? The Sikh community and the hotel folks got on them. Was it Dr. Kapoor out at Fresno State?
Yeah.
They came down pretty hard on them. But of course, this is
So
Republican
was
country.
this after 9/11 or something, or
I'm not sure
yeah, I don't remember that.
what it was in response to. But it's just the rhetoric, times are changing. The European power structure is losing their power, as evidenced by the storming of the Capitol, insurrection, treasonous behavior. They should take one of them out there every day, one by one, and make them account for what they've done to try and sabotage our country. Yes, and I said our country. I was born and bred here. Love the United States like cook food, but I don't want to see the insurrection, and I don't want to see it, taken over. But yeah, so I don't remember what it was in response to, but it just needs to stop. It needs to be. We need to be more positive. For the last 2 days, all I've heard is Republican House folks talk about how we have to be united, and we have to know what you're asking for is for people to do what you want and not look at both sides of the ledger, and that's total BS. You have to look at things from every standpoint and try to empathize and understand what's going on from all points of direction. But they've been in power for so long, and now they're getting the rug slowly snatched out from under them, and they don't like it.
So the thing that bothers me about that, I listened to a lot of the speeches today from the conservatives in the House, was that they all talking about unity and all that kind of stuff, but they wasn't hollering about unity when they were in power.
Of
They
course
were ripping
not.
and running. They were ripping and running and beating the hell out of people, setting up policies to keep people down and isolated and separated. Now all of a sudden that they've, like you said, they've lost their grip on power, and now they want unity, unity, unity. Well, that's them trying to express their power. It's just like most of our political systems is that we're being governed by the minority.
Yeah.
I heard an interview this evening, not too long ago. Young lady was talking about gerrymandering and how Republican headed states have configured out the lines. She says that Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, by percentage, has the second highest concentration of Black folks in all of America.
Yep, I've heard
Have
that.
no state elected Black officials.
Right, because
I didn't know that number was that high.
because
she
it looks
says,
like a finger. They've run the districts to look. We'll take all these people here and put them in this district, and we'll take these people and put them in that district away from the voting base. Yeah, it's like I say, it's when you're in power, you can change the rules. You can move the goalposts to make them skinny when it's their turn to kick, and widen them out when it's your turn to kick. And it's even. It's
yeah,
getting
I'm
even.
just one of the things I'm hoping that with the Biden administration is he's 78 years old when he gets sworn into office. 4 years from now, he'll be 82. I just can't see America electing an 82-year-old president. That's just me. I can't see that. And so, with that in mind, I think it gives Joe Biden even more of a green light to be able to push whatever agenda it is that he wants to push, because he's not going to have to run for reelection.
He should do it anyway. He's running for reelection should not be the straw that you don't want to break. You should,
Agreed, but that's not the way our political system. That's not the way our politicians operate.
and that's the problem, is that
Agreed.
we are looking to appease other things and people so that we can keep a job and maintain a job. So I'm with you. Get in there and stir it up. Do what you want to do. I think that the next in 4 years it's going to be Kamala Harris and it's going to be Mike Pence. So we'll see. We'll see how this
I,
how
I
this
don't think
happens.
it'll be. I don't think Mike Pence is going to be there. There's a whole bunch of other Republicans, conservatives, I guess I should say, that's going to leapfrog his ass. Some of these people who are prancing around there like prize peacocks right now. But I'm just hoping that Biden's experience as a VP of President Obama, he'll understand that tomorrow is not promised. So if you've got an idea, if you got an agenda, if you got a program or a process that you want to get implemented, damn how people feel about it. If it's positive, going to positively impact the majority of the people, then you go for it. And when Obama got elected in 2008, he had a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House. 2 years later, he was fighting an uphill battle, couldn't get judges appointed, couldn't do shit. And so I'm hoping that experience is something that's still in Biden's craw, that he can grow from and not get caught in that same trap.
Hello, Miss Sally. Hello, Mr. Aaron. When I found out you went to Vegas, I was kind of upset, but that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Leave me behind. No, just kidding.
They did a BOYZ trip, so they got back in one
Well, I'm
piece,
a
so that's
boy.
good. I am pissed off though that I sent them over there with one task and they failed it.
Just to place a vote, to place a bet.
Place a bet, and guess what the bet? Guess what the bet was?
That the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl again.
Hell no.
Oh,
That my Buccaneers gonna win the Super Bowl, and so if the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl, Aaron gonna be out of $1,100 somehow, because that's what I would have won on my $100 bet.
okay.
So anyway,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Was he on Facebook or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Um,
So I have another question in that realm of political stuff. What do you think they're going to do with these young Democrats, these Ocasio-Cortezes that are verbal and see the world in one way that's not actually conducive to how everybody else in their party are seeing it? Do they strike out on their own? Do they what's going to happen with her and her youngsters? I'm
Nothing.
curious.
I'm hoping that the Democratic Party does not make a big deal with her. As I keep saying, as of 2019, there's more of them than there are of us.
Well,
There's
I
more.
agree.
And so if the Democratic Party goes out there and they start to alienate under 40 population, they're doing the same stuff the Republicans did. They cutting their own throat.
Like I said, that's the old heads though. That's what they know how to do.
So to answer your question, Joe, here's what I would do if I was Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic head. I would give some of these young voices some leadership roles, because it's real easy when you ain't the head, when you ain't the leader, to say all kind of stuff and do all kind of stuff. But when you're the head of one of those committees, or you've got some responsibilities and duties, you can't just fire up at the mouth. It gives you some more. There's some more restrictions, some more clamps that will be placed on you. So that's what I'm hoping that they'll do, is find some of these committees to make them, have them become ranking people in the party, so that you can put some more responsibilities on them, so that they can't go all willy nilly. But if we alienate it, we go in there and we're gonna teach her a lesson, and we're gonna show her this, and we gotta wait till time like ourselves. They're gonna screw it up. The Democratic Party is gonna screw it up, and we're gonna wind up being right back where we were in 2010, fighting an uphill battle because we didn't want to embrace the future. That's one of the things. I had a conversation. I actually had two conversations today with some people here about politics in the local area, and actually I had a conversation last night, one today. I was telling them, I said, listen, every time we meet, I'm gonna bring up youth. When I say youth, I mean under 40s. How are we going to get their voices? How are we going to get them involved and engaged in what it is that we're doing? Because if we're not, then we're dealing with the past. So there's more. Think about it. In 2019, there's more, for the first time in 80 years, there's more people under 40 than over 40. And there's 340, I think it's up to 340,000 people now that got killed by COVID. What do you think the percentages are of people that's over 40 that die from corona?
Oh, a lot higher than under.
Probably 60%, maybe 70%. So you're talking about taking out a whole nother 120,000 people, 140, 150,000 people that's over the age of 40. And think about all the births that have happened. And so anybody who is doing anything political, who is not engaging, it not even has to be political, but anybody who's doing any kind of community organizing where they want to get things done, if they are not engaging the under 40 population, they basically chasing their tail, running around in a circle. And so when you talk about people like Ocasio-Cortez is the biggest one, but there's some others, Tlaib, Rashida Tlaib, I forget what the other young lady's name is. I think that the Democratic Party should empower them rather than alienating them and going to chastise them like you do with your kids. You need to empower them, give them some more responsibilities, because they got to follow rules. And if they don't follow rules, then you hold them accountable. But right now, Alexandria Cortez, she got into office by upsetting a longtime Democrat in her area, so she feels emboldened right now, and rightfully so. So instead of squelching that, because she's going to be a factor, she could be. Think about it. She can't even run for president or vice president now. She's not even old enough, because you got to be 35, right?
I believe so. I'm not
35 or something like that. I know there's an age limit, and she can't even run for any of those offices because she's not even old enough. So think about it. She's going to be in the House probably a good 20 years or so. So think about it. If we were smart on the Democratic side of the ledger, Biden just won. We should be grooming. Maybe it's Kamala, maybe it's not. But we should be grooming whoever is going to be the next person for 4 years from now. When that person gets in, say it's Kamala, she can stay in for 8 years. So now you got 12 years of a Democratic leadership. If you play cards right, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will be ready to run for president then. So that's what we've got to do. We got to start playing the long game on our side of the ledger, on which the Republicans have been kicking our ass at that game.
She better change her tune away from socialism, or she ain't. That's a bad word here in the United States, socialism.
But why is it a bad word?
Because people don't understand the concept that what she is talking about is not actually socialism in the way of socialism. She's talking about helping people out, but they use and have adopted the term democratic socialism. So socialism is a bad thing because of World War I in the United States. So
understood.
You got to change.
So now that Joe Biden has got the bloody pulpit of the presidency, one other thing they talked about he should do is he should do a monthly.
Explain bloody pulpit.
he's got the pulpit. I mean, that he fought for. That the bloody pulpit is he's the person who's speaking. He's at the dais. He got the mic.
Okay.
So Joe Biden has got the mic now.
Joe Boo Biden.
He can do whatever he wants to do with that mic. And so people are suggesting to him that he bring back the fireside chats. And every month he have a fireside chat where he can explain something. Here's an opportunity for him to bring in a Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, have them come in and explain exactly what they mean by democratic socialism. So that now you're educating people to what exactly it means, so that people now are not left to their own devices. Because what do you always say? The people who are turned off to socialism are dying off. They're dying off. So this new regime, the under 40 regime, does not see that term socialism in the same way that the people that are above us do. So here's an opportunity to do some education, because we are a democratic socialist environment. The farm, the subsidies that the farmers get, been getting forever. It's socialism. Education, our public education system is a form of socialism. So we have got, I believe that that's one of the things that Biden can do, is to make sure that he is educating the American public to these terms that have been commandeered by the conservatives and turned bad.
Yeah,
so
I can agree with that.
You know that Clinton, the whole time that Clinton was in office, those 8 years, he would never admit to being a progressive. Because a progressive at that time was a turnoff. Anybody who said they was a progressive, it was just like being a socialist. But now over time, the organization and different people understand what they mean by progressives. I think that same type of education that's one of the best things that I think that Joe Biden can do with having a mic, is make sure that he does explanations. You know, one of the things he's talking about right now that caught my ear the other day, he's supposed to, one of his things he's gonna do in the first 100 years, or first 100 years, first 100 days of his administration, is he's going to freeze student debt. So those of us who have student loans, he's going to freeze it.
For how long?
I don't know. I don't remember them saying for how long, but he said he was going to freeze it. And he also was talking about giving like a $10,000 voucher to people who have student loans, so that he writes off $10,000 of their student loan going forward. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's
very positive.
That's a progressive idea, though.
Okay, but it's not bad. Like I said, it's a very positive idea.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying that those are the types of things that he can push immediately and not have to worry about running for another term, because he doesn't have to, this is it for him. And so I'm hoping that he sees it in that manner. I'm hoping that Kamala Harris, in her role as the VP, will continuously be the bug in his ear that lets him know, hey man, we ain't got a long time. We got to get this done. We can't wait. And if the Republicans ain't on board with it, they're the minority. Let's get it done. Because 2 years from now, if he doesn't get it done, then it's going to be a struggle to maintain the Senate in the way that it is set up right now.
I agree.
So, yeah, the other thing, it's once we get through the next 6 days, Trump gonna do something. I don't know what it is.
He gonna get his ass out the White House and leave with his tail tucked between his legs.
Agreed, but he gonna do something, dude, because he has been raised not to be a loser. So I could even see him faking crazy, go to an insane asylum for an evaluation or something like that, to get him out, not get him out, but get some of this heat off of him, this immediate heat he gonna get. He gonna do something, Joe. He can't take. So him not going to the inauguration, what does that matter?
What does he matter?
He is a former president of the United States of America.
He's a disgraced former president of the United States. Let him go crawl into his box and do his bidding over there. Everybody wants to give him some power in the form of attention and this, that, and the other. Just put like they're doing, push his ass to the side and let him go over there and do whatever it is he's gonna do. When he's done, they've impeached him a second time. So now he can go down in history as the winner of the most impeachments by a United States president. He ain't gonna do nothing else. He done. He one thing that he is not wanting to do is go to prison or go to jail. And he has figured out that he's on the precipice of going to jail. He gonna go down, he gonna go somewhere and sit his punk ass down.
Why do you believe that he is not going to go to prison or go to jail?
Because he's the president of the United States. But if he keep going out there acting a monkey, they gonna keep pushing. The last time he got impeached, they sided with him because they didn't want the embarrassment of removing him from the office. Now you have Republicans that understand that were huddled up, fearing for their lives. That tends to change people's perspective and views. And so his close confidence has told him, like they should have told him a long time ago, hey, buddy, you're not above the law. You can go to prison. You are on the line, teetering the line of treason, and they will kill you for treason. That's death. And he didn't figure that out. He's had his proverbial come to Jesus moment. Donald Trump is going to go somewhere and sit his crazy ass down. Now his kids might be doing something different, but I don't think we really understand the magnitude of the United States government and its full fury and force. And he didn't understand it. He thought that he was in charge of all of that, and he's not. And so now he knows, just like the FBI is picking up these police officers from other districts that went, and these doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs and boogaloo and witch doctors and all these folks that went to the Capitol at his beckoning and went, and as a result of them going, 5 or 6 people have now lost their lives. That's real. And you held the people, the very people that make the laws in the United States of America hostage for just a fraction of time. All it takes is for someone to understand that they could actually lose their lives or lose their livelihood or lose everything that they got, and they're making the laws. Oh, you messed up. If he was intelligent, which I believe he's got that much sense about him, he gonna go somewhere and sit his ass down.
I got you, but even though he
There's
goes
no
and
even
sits,
though to it.
do what?
There's no even though to it.
There is an even though. You're saying he's gonna go sit his ass down. I agree with you. But what about all the stuff that you just said that he's done? You think he's gonna go unaccountable? I mean, he's
Well, now you're starting to change it a little bit, because
how is that changing it?
Because that's something that he is not in charge of. He is now not in charge of the people doing things to him. He's already ran his little race.
Well,
And
no, we started.
now the Congress and the people that are making the laws, now it's their turn to judge his actions.
You said that he's not going to jail.
You don't agree with that?
I do not agree with that
No,
because of everything that you just said.
You don't agree, and we've put it into 2 different timelines. But you don't agree that it's now somebody else's turn to judge his actions?
Exactly. And I think that the judgment of his actions, the things that he's done, is going to land his ass in jail.
Okay.
I mean, everything that you just said, the sedition, the whole thing he just got impeached for this time, his bank and his money laundering schemes and all this other kind of stuff that he's done during his time in office. Yeah, I agree. He's going to go somewhere and sit his ass down 6 days or 7 days from now. But he did a whole bunch of stuff over the last 4 years, and he's got to be.
But the argument was, you hope he doesn't do something in this last week.
No. I believe he is going to do something.
Excuse me?
I believe he is going to do something. Not necessarily.
He's not going to do anything. He's going to go sit his ass down. That's what I'm saying. You're saying that in these last 5, 6, 7, 4 days or whatever, he's going to do something catastrophic.
I don't know if it's going to be catastrophic or not, but there's something that there is something he realizes, as you said, he realizes that he realizes that he did effed up, and now he don't have no control over what the punishment is going to be. He has no control whatsoever. Even if he pardons himself, that's not even so. Ideally, what he should have did is he should have played nice with Mike Pence, resign from the position, and then make Pence the president, and then Pence could have pardoned him. But now he didn't pissed off. Well, I shouldn't say pissed off Pence, but he didn't attack Pence, so he ain't getting no pardon from Pence. So now the only thing he can do, maybe the thing that he's going to do that's going to upset the apple cart, is he pardons himself. Now that's got to go to the Supreme Court. There's a whole bunch of other things that's got to go on. And now that he is been impeached again, I'm not sure. I know there's some discussion. I don't know if it's during the indictment part of the impeachment or if it's the removal part of the impeachment. He no longer has the pardon power, and so it's going to be interesting. He's going to do something. He's a loser, and but he's going to jail. He may not spend a night in jail, but he's going to be convicted. He's going to be sentenced. He's going to be on his way to jail. And he's going to have a miraculous. His heart going to blow up. He's going to have a stroke. He's going to go. He's going to have early onsets of dementia, something. But he's going to be convicted. He's going to be convicted.
He can be convicted and not go to jail. Don't be surprised if Joe Biden pardons him.
If Joe Biden does that, that would be the worst. That would be the worst decision that he can make for himself, and even doubly worse decision that he can make for the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party would be like the Republican Party right now if Joe Biden pardons him, because the under 40 crowd don't want that. That ain't gonna work. So anyway, so what's your response to the impeachment?
That it needs to be done, just because no good evil deed needs to be unchallenged, and that's basically what this is doing. It's challenging and setting forth the standard that nobody is above the law, not even the president of the United States of America. And just because you have that, then and you don't act accordingly, then you should be held responsible. So that goes back into the mindset of the folks that I'm talking about, the Klan mentality, of you can't destroy our leadership. So yeah, he needs to be impeached. He needs, the easy way out would have been the 25th. Then he could have acted or did something like you said. But right now, he can't do that. I believe they did the right thing by impeaching him. I don't know if the Senate is going to remove him again or not, but you only can do your part in situations.
Yeah. I think they need to have, I think it's 13. Because if I'm not, it has to be 2/3, so that would be 66. So they have to have 16 Republicans vote to impeach him, to remove him from office. And they don't think that they're going to get to that point. They think that there's going to be probably 6 or 7 Republicans right now, as it's kind of looking. 6 or 7 Republican senators will say, yeah, he needs to be removed from his office, which would be more than any other time. Clinton had 2 people of his party vote against him. Andrew Johnson is the one that had the most. He was 1 vote. He was 1 vote from being removed. That's the dude that Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears.
Yeah. So he was 1 vote. I think it was 1 vote, 1 or 2 votes shy of being removed from office. He was the worst one. And then the first impeachment with this dude, this clown, was one party defection. But it'd be interesting. Mitch McConnell, have you been listening to his comments?
Actually, no. I watched. I had to go take care of some business last night, and on the way home, I listened to the House do their speeches. The Republicans, they're losing their power. They don't. They're trying. They're saying, let us down easy. Don't drop us on our head. So I'm
Mhm.
sure it's rhetoric like that. So
Well, McConnell has said he's not going to call the Senate back early because they're not supposed to come back until the 19th, I think it is, back in session. He's not going to call them back early for this impeachment. But he also didn't say he made a statement that left it open that he doesn't know if he's going to vote for or against a removal of Donald Trump. And I don't know what the exact statement was, but he kind of left it. He didn't declaratively, affirmatively say that he was going to vote not to remove him. They said that he's making comments that the president, everything he did, he should be impeached for. Supposedly he's disgruntled because he blames Trump for him losing his leadership of the Senate because of the stuff he did in Georgia. It's going to be interesting. I shouldn't say
and
this, but it's going
okay.
to be fun watching people who are not like me ethnically, people who are not like me politically, devour each other.
Aaron said if there isn't enough Republicans that will vote to remove, would you consider it a waste of time?
No, hell no, hell
I
no.
agree.
It's
Like
got to be done.
sometimes it ain't the sometimes it's the quick and swift reaction to your uh, misplaced efforts that gets your attention, and I think that that's what this is. He just can't be willy nilly running around doing what he's been doing. And here's a question for you: do you think that the Ted Cruzes and the Marco Rubios and all those Republicans that are now backing his play and lying, still lying, and that crazy QAnon woman from Florida who got up there last night, do you think that they are complicit or hold any accountability in Donald Trump's actions in the sedition and how the people tried to
There's
overthrow the government?
there's three guys in particular. There's going to be they're being investigated now. I can't remember their names, but
John
there is
in the
this.
House.
I don't remember if they're in the House or if it's a combination or what it is. But there's three Republicans who are on tape with this right wing crazy dude who is one of the heads of one of these militias, who is saying that he had conversations with these three these three congressmen um, about how to do certain things. And so the FBI is investigating right now. And that fool he was on Facebook or one of the social media sites and said that. There's a tape of it. And so actually, maybe I can find it right now if I Google it real quick. But yeah, there's already an investigation started by the FBI about the three Republicans involved in the sedition.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I shouldn't say it's gonna be interesting. It's in motion. That's a better way of saying it and putting it. I'm gonna put this out. If you guys are watching this the day after, the day before, a lot of people that I've talked to said that they're looking for the show. I guess they've been looking for it at Supermex. Once again, we're not there. We're at Mad Talk TV. Um, Let people know that we've made a change in a move, and they can tune in and tune on. I guess they were getting notifications when we were coming on, so hit those platforms so that people can chime in and see what's going on with us in the new time, or not new time, the new placement for the show. But yeah, no, I agree. It's.
Yeah, I don't see it. I can't find it. I don't remember the guys' names, but there's three of them, and of course, one of them that hasn't made any statements. One of them said his comments with this right wing crazy dude was taken out of context, and the other guy said he didn't know him. He doesn't remember ever meeting him, although this representative spoke at a rally that this guy put together. So it's all BS. But those the three of them, and then that crazy lady from the one QAnon lady from Colorado who was who was calling in the location of everybody, in particular Nancy Pelosi. She just left the chamber. She's doing this, doing that. They're looking and going after her, and they're talking about if the investigation comes true, they're gonna expel them.
Isn't it ironic that Donald Trump put in put in signed into law that if you desecrate one of these monuments, that it's 10 years, and made all those speeches, and now these excuse my language, these dumbasses have went out there and desecrated the one sanctity. I mean, people were even in there taking dumps in the Capitol.
They said that is the craziest
Really?
stuff in the world, because taking a dump in somebody's office is, you might as well just wait for them to come get you, because you done left all the DNA evidence for people to they can tell you what you ate for lunch today. I heard a forensic. He's a dentist, but he's does some forensic work with police. Yeah, he says, "Oh, that's crazy that they went in there and smeared feces." He's like, they might. Feces is just like a fingerprint, he said.
Yeah, but you take, especially if you taking a picture, a selfie of you smearing crap on people's stuff and walking out with the letters that you just stole. You're taking selfies with your feet up on the desk. They're not.
They've been cut. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the main dudes in there, they got all of them.
Oh, they got 150 something warrants out all over the United States.
Well, I do know that some of these men. So the dude who had the big horns on, they got his ass. The dude who had his feet up on Pelosi's desk, they got his ass.
Yep.
There's a dude who had
zip ties.
The zip ties, they got his ass. They got a 3-time gold medalist.
Yep, the swimmer.
One of the swimmer. Yep. I heard about that today. Yeah, so
the House of Representatives dude from West Virginia.
Oh yeah.
You know, the two police officers from the small Virginia place, Homestead or town, whatever, out of Virginia.
Seattle. There's a fireman from New York.
Good luck, fellas.
Yeah, and these are people that are not. These are people that weren't involved just solely in the protest outside. They're not messing with those folks. These people are got pictures and aren't surveyed. They said that inside the Capitol, there is nowhere you can go inside the Capitol where there's not a camera, a video camera that can't get you. And so they're like, yeah, they got all kind of evidence. And then they picked up. People have been calling in on them. They Facebook posts and all that, social media posts. They said they got all kind of evidence that they're going to be following to hold these people accountable. And you said Donald Trump signed something that says that you get 10 years.
Yeah, he said, and then he went to his rally and was talking about it and laughing about it. I signed the bill and says you can get 10 years, and all the monuments coming down, all of that has stopped.
I missed that.
Yeah, buddy. There's enough work for everybody to do, man. I'm just
here's the other thing also that Trump could do that I think that would be consequential is to pardon anybody who was arrested on January 6th in the protest. He could do a blanket. He could legally do a blanket pardon like that. So he might do something.
If the rumors of him not being able to pardon anybody because he's been impeached or under the investigation of impeachment is true, then he just gonna
that's true.
Get in his sailboat and sail on down to Mar-a-Lago and live his life as a hermit, wifeless and childrenless, because his punk ass kids is going to jail too. That's what's going to hurt him. That's what people don't realize is the government they would like to get Trump, but they ain't worried about him. They're going to hurt him by taking his kids.
Yep, and that's leverage.
Beavis and Butthead and their sister, they going to jail. and they will be ruined. You know, it's the scorched earth theory. He is getting ready to understand what happens when you mess with the full force of the people that run the government, because he ain't running nothing.
When you get
He
out
had
the
his
lane,
opportunity. He blew it.
he should have stayed as a two-bit businessman and stayed out of politics.
And what's gonna happen to Rudy Giuliani?
Rudy will probably have a stroke or something.
Yeah, an induced stroke. He gonna get
Yeah,
COVID again. He gonna be your third person to get COVID again, second time. Oh,
yeah.
and COVID's changing now, huh? It's mutating. It's getting stronger.
Supposedly it's got two
They
mutant
out
strands. They said that the one that came over here from England is different. They got another one they're calling the American strand.
yeah, they got two American strains. Something
Uh,
about the backbone and how it connects to your genes or something are different, and they found that in two different places. They don't know if it's isolated to those two places or if it's all across the United States already. But hey,
when was the last time you heard Donald Trump say anything about the COVID?
oh, it's
When's the last time you heard him say
when he was
anything
standing up there
about the
going,
340,000 people who have died from COVID?
I'm strong. I'm COVID. I've survived. That's the last time. What, 2 months ago? Donald Trump has checked out on y'all. For y'all that don't know, Donald Trump has checked out. Donald Trump then went to the whole house and they then moved his cigars out of his private cubby hole. They didn't cut the light out in his private room. His credit card has been cut in half. Donald Trump is sitting out in the parking lot in his convertible Cadillac, looking at all the hoes go by in and out of the strip joint. He is powerless, sitting there contemplating, running a hose from the back of his car into his convertible because he ain't smart enough to know you got to close it in order to trap the gas. Is what I don't want. I like Cat Williams say. I don't know the recipe, but he's done his thing. He the Trump and greater um, uh, white supremacists, and let's not forget that Congress sanctioned him and said he was a racist and a white supremacist. That experiment is over, and it's over because of, you say the under and over 40s, and I say the under and over 60s, 65. The Civil Rights Act. Those folks these younger people. They ain't trying to deal with that. They ain't trying to see that. They ain't trying to hear that. They trying to survive. It's about the survival of the fittest now. And I'm sorry to let y'all in on a little secret, but you need some darkness to you to make babies. But it's done. It's a done thing. It's the experiment is over, brother. The experiment is over. And if the two are cycled up one for one, every time I'm gonna win every time. Every time.
So what else is going on?
Oh well, I'm just being beautiful. I like to see, this is for a personal issue and reference. I like to see the cousins, the Hendrixes, reaching out uh, to try and put together the family reunion. I guess it's 2020, 2022.
2022.
Yeah, and so that was interesting. So we had a conversation, and then how this plays into our show is the mental health of the whole issue. Find something that you can do constructively. That came out, and so this week I've probably dedicated 8 or so hours to trying to be interested in trying to find that path, that link, that understanding, because there's so many different pathways that are wrapped up into the structure of our family, just on that Hendrix side, that is interesting. You like to know your cousins, but it's just interesting, man. It's, to me, it
Have you
was.
heard of the Howard County riot?
I glossed over that in the things that I was reading about, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's you'll hear reference in there to some Marshall people. That's Grandma Neely's people, and so the cousin that I hooked up with told me a story that our great grandpa Wade, was it Wade or was it George? One of our great grandfathers wound up dying in prison, and he was imprisoned as part of the
I saw
arrest of,
that.
what's that?
I saw that.
Yeah, it was one of the as part of the arrest of with that Howard County riot.
I think it was a George, but looking at what they, I think it was a George.
So that's the
Um,
original George, and that's Wade's son. Because Wade and them had, that's the one with the big long white beard. Remember that picture?
yeah, there's Wade, Barry in our line, our lineage. Wade, Barry, Columbus, George, Bessie, and then you and I, and then our kids.
Okay, so Barry, it was Barry that died in prison.
Uh,
So it's Wade, Barry, George, George, Bessie, right?
no George. Wasn't Columbus or was it George? Or here's
No,
a question.
Columbus is the younger brother. Remember?
Okay, so let me ask you this question, and this is just were they married to the same lady?
Yeah, were.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay,
Grandma Neely.
George and Columbus. Okay, and then George, Bessie.
Yeah.
Okay,
So George, and I don't. He doesn't have a middle name. So I call him George 1, 2, and 3, and actually it's George 4. There's 4 Georges in each one of the decades. So George number 1 was married to Neely. They had 2 children. They had Minnie and they had George. George died in 2000. I'm sorry, in 1908. I think that's right. In 1907 or 1908, and then his youngest brother Columbus married Neely, and they had 3 children. They had uh, Uncle Van, Uncle Reed, whose first name is Floyd, and Aunt Ressie.
it's a George Washington, a George Alvin.
George Alvin is Mama's brother. George Washington is Mama's daddy, and then George number 1, who I don't know what his middle name is our grandfather.
George of the jungle.
Yeah. So yeah, and I get confused, and that's why I was trying to. When I was talking with our cousin, I was getting confused with the Georges, and so I just started
But
calling
now,
him
when you say
George.
talking, were you verbalizing with him or texting back
We
and
did
forth?
have we did have one conversation,
Okay.
but most of his emails, exchanging pictures. I'm trying to find. There's a picture of Grandma and Grandpa that I'm trying to find because he doesn't have any pictures of Grandma Grandma Lucy and Grandpa George.
Their
Uh,
wedding picture, which Aunt Doris should have there.
yeah,
Ken.
so Mom, I've seen it, but now that I moved all this stuff around, I'm not sure exactly
No,
where
no,
it
no. It's
is.
the wedding. It's the wedding picture that was taken at mom and dad's wedding.
Okay, so that's in one of those albums.
She's got a blue dress on, and he's got a black suit on. And he and the cousin you're talking about is, I can't think of his name, but he's in Mississippi.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Not Verrett. I can't think of what the name is right now either.
Garnett.
Garnett. There you go, Garnett.
Yeah. I invited him and some other folks to check us out. So just
Well, Joanne comes on all the time. Joanne, who's there in Tallette.
yeah. But do they know that we've moved? Are they looking for us on the other platform?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't talked to Joanne. I know that she every once in a while she would show up on there.
Yeah.
Remember, it's 2 hours difference for them too.
And wake up, drink some coffee.
So yeah,
Good.
that's cool. That's one of the things when you look at the work that he's done. He's done some extensive work. I guess his wife did the same thing with her family, and put together an actual book. His wife is actually a doctor of education, and so she put together her family book, and I think that's what's kind of motivating him to get ours done. And you hear him keep making the references, this side of the Rockies and that side of the Rockies, because he said that he has all of his branches because he's part of Columbus's 3 kids, except for, I'm sorry, take that back. He did not have a whole bunch of information for our grandpa George and Uncle Van because they left in the early 50s and came out to late 40s, early 50s and came out to California. So he was removed from them. And he kept saying Floyd. I'm like, okay, I don't remember Floyd. And then Joanne chimed in and says, that's Floyd Reed. Oh, Uncle Reed. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I know him as Uncle Reed. I guess his real name, his real first name is Floyd. But anyway,
Something else that was interesting, and this is that it's HRE Hendrix with an X and RICKS, that it was showing up in both places, or in some places spelled both ways. So last night I ran into a dude with RICKX or RICKS, and he's from up here, but he said he spent a lot of time in Fresno, and we got to talking, and finds out that there's a very interesting story. Um, and he said that he has some relatives with RICKS in Bakersfield, and I asked him if he knew Ramon and those Hendrixes out there. And he said he wasn't aware of them, but he was like 65, 60, 65,
yeah.
66. So
Yeah,
yeah, it should be
supposedly the when they came from South Carolina, when Wade came from South Carolina, or Barry, Wade or Barry, whichever one of them came from South Carolina, it was CKS then. And sometime around the turn of the century, the 1800s. I'm sorry, that's not right. So it would have been 18.
21 is when Wade, they have him down as being born in 1821, Barry in 1833, Columbus 1881, so around in there in the 1800s.
So it would have been like around 1860s or so. 1870s is when became an X. And so nobody really knows what happened. They just know that on the census, it was changed. So they don't know if it was a clerical error or if somebody was specifically doing that to change. Because it sounded like in 1880s, that's when that Howard, in the late 1880s, that's when that riot happened. And what happened was is that after emancipation, they got a bunch of land. They had fertile land there in Arkansas, and the white Klansmen, the white racists back then wanted the land, and so they weren't selling it. They couldn't get it from them, and so a discrepancy wound up turning into a gun battle. That wound up, getting sides, Hatfield and McCoy type of things, and it wound up going on for a few days, and only black photos, pictures, people, all
Well,
those type of.
because this is a platform like this, I'm going to make a proposal that maybe we should do something in California in the next 12 months or so, to bring about an understanding so that we can formulate, because it's easier to do it in regions. It's easier to eat the pie in regions than it is and to be one big thing, and maybe we could present stuff at the at the at the event in a more concise manner or fashion if it's written down and shown. Bingo, bango, baby.
Sound like you volunteering for a
Yeah, I'm
task.
volunteering you for that action since
I know I won't be doing it. I'll
what?
contribute.
What you got? What?
I'll contribute. I'll give people
What?
pictures. I'll give people my knowledge and those type of things. But I won't be writing that. I can tell you that now. Anyway, a couple minutes before the hour, I want to make
Man,
sure I go back over this COVID information again. So those of you who are living in Fresno County, there is ongoing COVID testing, free COVID testing, Tuesdays at your Chansey parking lot. That's put on by District 3 City Councilman Miguel Arias. So every Tuesday, and I believe it's from 9 to 2. Then you've got Fresno County Health Department is doing it on Wednesdays and Saturdays at the Chance parking lot over at the Fresno Fairgrounds. No appointment is needed for that. You just go in there and it'll weave you through. It takes you about 30 minutes to get through. And then as of today, any Fresno County resident that's over the age of 75 is eligible for a vaccination. You need to visit the um, Fresno County website. Go to their health department, and you've got to sign up for an appointment to go and participate in that. So I want to make sure that I get that information now. You got any information you want to share?
Actually, no. I'm just being beautiful, loving, living in the light of the Lord, being blessed. Oh, how was your Christmas present?
It's, that's not the first time I've had it. I still got it in there.
Not the 100 proof.
No, I've had Uncle Nearest before.
The 100. There's three different ones. That I'm saying you've had the 100 proof.
I don't I don't I don't know what it was I had before.
Okay. Okay.
But it's there's still some in there. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, but it's good.
Yeah,
It's good. It's
we
a good
have.
substitute. Thank you.
I drink water, so
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that today too. Since my gut was killing me this morning. Hey,
yeah.
by the way, one of the things I want to do is for a future show. Now that I'm going through all this stuff financially with mom, with the passing of mom and stuff, is I want to take some time to share what I'm finding out about afterlife stuff. Because I'm finding out that wills and trusts don't mean jack crap in the financial banking world.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that I think that that's a good thing. I'm all about information and truth, and truthful information. You put it out there so that we can understand what's going on. But it might be a perception. Let me see perception of reality versus perception of thought, and what we've been told practices,
yeah. So
preferred practices.
and the other thing is, if you have a will and trust, you need to update that joker. Not necessarily on any regular schedule, but you need to. People need to put their financial records, their bank accounts, and all those other types of things. Add those. So instead of the checking account being Darren Miller's checking account, the checking account should be to the trust of Darren Miller. And then that way, all of your assets and those type of things then goes into your trust, and it doesn't have to go through probate. Because if you don't have that, it still goes to probate court because it's finances. So
Isn't that
there's a
amazing?
bunch of stuff that
I was gonna say, isn't it amazing that has evolved into such a law issue that you almost need a lawyer to weed through all that stuff. And for all you guys that don't know, and I know we're running out of time, I would like to do the same thing with my experiences. One portion of my issues with the city of Fresno workers' compensation stuff is fastly coming to a close, and I would like to do an informational show on some of the issues that we've run into and some of the understandings that we've run into, and some of the challenges. So I know people have been wanting and asking for that for probably the last 6 to 8 years, but we're coming to an understanding of that.
okay. So we're over time. KP, hopefully you're around there somewhere. Um, Again, this is In Touch with the Miller Boys, your
Is it
weekly
Martin
talk
Luther
show.
King weekend?
Yeah, yes, it is.
You going skiing? Oh, this ain't skiing.
Most of the celebrations are being done virtually, and so what I've learned about this though is what it is. I'm linked in for one that's in Boston. I'm linked in for one that's in DC, and it's all virtual. And so you guys can pick out a city and celebrate Dr. King's legacy in a multitude of different ways. So anyway,
Delray, California.
until next week, God willing, we'll be back. In touch with the Miller Boys next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. See you then. Peace.
Love, peace, and hair grease. See? See? See?